Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, July 18th, and let's see, we got some mail today, and we got some parts for our engine. Our valves came, and valve keepers, and clutch bearing came. So I think we'll put a head together tonight, do that, and it's hot here. It's really warm today. Sitting out here now, and I mean it's 8:30 at night, and it's still warm enough that I'm sweating pretty good. So first off, let's take a look at what we got from mail. Okay. Got an envelope today, and let's see, it's somewhere in Tennessee. There you go. Okay, just doing this one-handed. All right, there you go. Very nice, my friend Cecil 6711. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, Cecil. We'll be putting that with our little collection here until we figure out what we're going to do as far as getting up on something. Once again, I still think that spot up there on the wall is going to be full of something, and the stickers will go on that. I haven't quite decided yet what. But Cecil, thank you very much, buddy. We really appreciate it. And okay, here we have our cylinder head, our EA81 cylinder head. Valves came today. I've already lapped in one exhaust valve, one intake valve. Put them back together. So we'll do the others and get them up, and hopefully I can do that without melting. Like I say, guys, it's hot. And let me get you guys on a stand here, and we'll start working on this. Okay, so we got our cylinder head, and the first thing that we want to do is lap our valves in. We've cleaned our valve seats inside our heads really good. And there's a couple different ways of doing this. There's going to be the way that I'm going to show you, which, once again, my little disclaimer, this is my way of doing it. There are other ways. I'm not saying anything's right, anything's wrong. This is just the way that I do it. So you guys, take from it what you like. And that's about it on that, Okay, so the one way of doing this would be to take and cut the three angles of the seats, grind the face of the valve. Even though they are new valves, a lot of times you will grind the face of them because manufacturing differences and so forth. There will be sometimes a little off to your seat. So if you grind the two of them together, then you're assured of a perfect match. But with us not having the equipment needed here to do that, we're going to do it a little bit different because, like I say, we don't have the equipment, and basically we're too cheap to take it down to the machine shop and have it done for this particular project. And they're new valves, but it is reused seats, guides. The guides are in good shape, seats are in good shape, but it is a reuse. So we're just going to kind of lap these in, put them back together, and that'll be it. We're going to put a little bit of lubrication on the valve stem here. Okay, and then we're going to take and we're going to put on this surface of our valve some valve grinding compound. What this is just it's a paste, an abrasive paste that will kind of mate the two surfaces together. Drop your valve in all the way down. Now we have this little deal here, which basically is a suction cup on either end. This one here, I apologize, it's a little bit old, hasn't been used for a while, it's a little bit dry, so it doesn't really stick as well as it once did. Take your suction cup and you put it right on your valve. And with a rolling motion like this, you're turning your valve back and forth on the compound. Like that. Now what I will do is I'll lift it up and kind of reposition it. Yeah, see, it popped off. So when these tools are fresh and the rubber is nice and good, it'll stay on there pretty good for you. So we're going to do that, you know, back and forth a little bit, back and forth a little bit, in and out. Okay. So, kind of around, and the amount that you do this is really going to depend on, you know, the condition of your valve if you're not using new ones, and the condition of your seat. Like I say, these seats, we were fortunate enough that on this engine, these seats were in really nice shape, and of course our valves are new. So when you get all done, I hope the camera's picking it up. If you look on this surface of the valve right here, see that mark right around there? That is the area that the valve seat seals on with these valves, right around like that. And you see it's all the way around. It's nice and consistent. We don't have any spots that we've missed or anything like that. So when our valve is in on the seat, we know that we're going to have a good seal. And one thing that we don't want to do is leave any remaining compound in there. We want to make sure you get it all wiped out real good and clean, because you don't want that compound in there for the initial operation of your engine. Now we're going to put a little lube again on our valve stem, up into the tip like that, and we'll drop our valve in. Valve works. You get really nice valve movement, just pushing it with my finger. Good. Now, once you've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to move my fancy stand over. I'm going to flip it around. Oh, actually here, hold on. I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that valve down again, and I almost forgot a very important part, and that is this little guy. And what that is the valve seal. Now these engines here are a little bit different than a lot of engines that you run across. The intake valve uses a valve seal. The exhaust valve does not. There's no seal on the exhaust valve. more than one time I've heard people open their new gasket kit and get looking around and stuff, and the first thing they say is they shorted me my valve seals. And the valve seals basically just push on, put some petroleum jelly inside the seal, and they'll push on just like that. Very easy to install. And with our valve already being lubricated, there you go. Valve's moving up and down in the seal. Seal gripping the shaft of the valve. Okay. Now, next up we're going to put our valve spring on. Now this is where this is going to get a little cumbersome the way that I'm going to do it, and I'll show you why in a sec. But first off, we're going to put some lubrication down here where the valve spring sits. It's a double valve spring on this. There's an inner spring and an outer spring fit together like this. These valve springs are directional. They have a top and a bottom. You'll notice on here, and they're both the same way. Hopefully I'm getting them in the shot. That the coils are spaced wider, and then progressively they get tighter as you go down. The tightest coils on these are always the bottom of the spring that sits against the cylinder head. So I've seen it before where people mix them up, they'll put them in upside down. It's possible to do. It does affect the valve action significantly when you do that. What this is basically it's a progressive rate. As it collapses, it progressively gets tighter. So you want to make sure that those are the right way, which is just like that. Then your valve, what I call a valve hat, just goes on the top here. What you want to do on your valve hat, just like our other components, put a little bit of lube. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, this is where it's going to get kind of cumbersome. There's a number of different valve compression tools. The one that I prefer for these small diameter valve springs is the C-clamp type. It'll go in and it'll basically, one part of it goes on one side and hits on your valve. The other side will collapse your springs down, kind of like squeezes it together. We had one of those. It was a very nice one, but a while back it broke while we were using it, and haven't thought to replace it yet. So in the meantime, we have this little guy. And this little guy, these work okay. They're definitely not ideal for this type of thing, but they will work good. Where these are actually nice, this type here is for replacing valve seals in the car without taking the cylinder head off the car. You can use these to compress the spring. You put compressed air to the cylinder that holds the valves up and closed, and you can actually take the valve spring off, change the seal, put it back together, and you don't have to disassemble the cylinder head from the engine. So they're kind of handy for that. For this, they're a little bit cumbersome, and I'll show you why. We're just going to have to mess around with it a little bit here. And what you do is you spring this dude open like so. Bring it down into the coils. Oops, of the spring, of course, without dropping your hat off of here. Okay, put that back. Okay. So now what we're going to do, once we've got the locked in to the coils like so, the inner spring probably won't compress, just the outer one will with this type of compressor, but not really a big deal because the inner spring is actually light enough that we can compress that just by pushing it with our hand. So what you do, compress the coils. Yeah, see, there's the inner spring. That's what you get. It's squeeze the outer coil. The inner one, like I say, I can squeeze it with my hand and it will work. Not ideal, but it will get us by. And these are actually pretty inexpensive to purchase. Any auto store would have them, so forth. Now, what we need to do is we need to take and put this on the underside of our valve spring and set it down on it. Or on the underside of our valve. What that does is keep our valve up in the cylinder head so it doesn't push down. Now we have our valve keepers, which is our little guys here. I don't know how well camera's picking them up, but they have a little ridge on the inside. That little ridge goes right here in the head of the valve. There's one on either side. They'll end up going in there like this, and the taper will fit down inside the valve hat and hold everything together. So this is what kind of becomes kind of a pain in the neck with these, is actually putting these parts in. Like I say, it's kind of awkward and it'll kind of irritate you sometimes, because what you have to do is you're pushing it down. When these with the double spring, you push that down over there, drop the keeper down in. Okay, there, half the keeper is installed. Now this one is going to get interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this around a little bit. Turn, get that where we want it. Roll that around. Okay, so that one's in. So now what we need to do, and this is basically the way that I kind of have it gripped, and once again squeeze our valve down, drop it in the gap. That opens like so. Okay, and then we can release the pressure on our little compressor, and if we've done this properly, it won't go flying apart. Not a good thing. And then our little spring tool comes out like so, and there you have it. The locks are in the thing. Spring is installed. All good. What I will do is just take a hammer and very lightly just, and you should get that real drum sound of the spring. You're not really trying to move anything, just to make sure that this is seated all the way in, which it is. So that's in a nutshell, putting this stuff back together. It's not difficult to do, and like I say, you could do it with pretty basic tools. Like I say, I think this thing here is probably, you know, I don't know, it's probably 15 bucks at most auto stores, something like that. They're not a lot of money, and they are handy. They will work. I do prefer the other type, especially with the smaller diameter valves, like I said. So basically that's it. So what we need to do is of course put one more in here. Then we need to take our other cylinder head apart and basically do the same thing all over again. So there you have it. That's pretty much what there is to it. Like I say, it's not a hard thing to do. Let me zoom out on this. You guys don't want to see that much of me. Okay, we are using a new camera tonight. Kind of, as you guys know, I'm an avid Craigslist searcher and surfed Craigslist a couple nights ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Sunday, and came across an ad for a Sony Handycam, and So went and looked at it, bought it very, very cheaply, and it seems to work fine. It's a little bit different than the little camera that we were using before. So okay, that's about it for this installment. I'm going to finish up our heads, and then in our next video we'll put the heads on and put the valve train together, put the valve covers on. And so until we come up with you know, a suitable donor car for our fuel injection parts, we're kind of getting to the point of a standstill on, especially on the engine anyways. So we'll go find some other stuff that we can do on the car and just kind of keep moving, you know, forward, and that'd be cool. And I do want to apologize to all you guys that are, you know, watching my videos and commenting and stuff like that, and I feel really bad. For some reason, I'm unable to comment on your comments. YouTube just isn't letting me do it. I click on the little button, nothing happens. Tried it in a couple different browsers, and it hasn't made any difference. So I don't know what the deal is there. So that's what's up with that. I do appreciate everybody that's watching. I appreciate and welcome your comments. Seems like there's more and more all the time, and that's really cool. That's kind of why we're wanting to do this. So I guess that's about it for tonight. Yeah, we'll just keep going along in this. And once again, Cecil 6711, really appreciate it. Thanks. It's a very nice sticker. And for all of my subscribers out there and you guys that have sent me stickers and stuff, I do have something in the works for you guys. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be getting some stuff that to send out to you guys. So that'll be cool. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm kind of rambling right now. So, all right. So there you go. Put the valves in. So until the next time, take it easy.